Well, the Democratic Party organizing this recall, and the work began long before those papers were dropped off.
Fox 6's Mike Lowe went on an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour of the statewide effort to ramp up the recall. Here it is in his political lowdown.
There's a large part of the population that's ready for this, that's been waiting for this since about February 11th.
Almost from the moment Scott Walker announced he wanted to end collective bargaining and that he would not negotiate with the unions.
For those who might ask, why not bargain for this? Again, we're not negotiating over a budget.
This is what democracy looks like.
Organized labor was ready for a recall.
Scott Walker has got to go.
So help me God.
But they had to wait until 1 year after his election to start the effort.
This is a very huge grassroots effort.
We live in Milwaukee, so check city.
That day is here, but it was hardly the beginning of the work.
If we wait until the 15th, then we're behind the game.
The Democrats started training people on October 24th. Party strategists have opened up more than 20 offices statewide. Organizers are calling this the biggest recall effort in American history. They've collected more than 1 million signatures to force Governor Scott Walker back on the ballot. The governor in our studio addresses the recall effort and the law that could give him an edge in the campaign. He appeared on Fox 6 Wake Up. Governor, you said that you are not the one who is responsible for the recall effort, but the central argument that your opponents are making against you is that you lied to the people. That's what they say, their words, not mine. They say that you were not straightforward and explicit about what you would do with respect to collective bargaining during the campaign.
Yeah, and I just think they're fundamentally wrong about this.
The controversy centers on 2 videos. The first is from last April.
Have you ever had a conversation with respect to your actions in Wisconsin in using them to punish members of the opposition party and their donor base?
No.
You've never had such a conversation?
No.
But this video was recorded 3 months before Walker's visit to Congress.
Any chance we'll ever get to be a completely red state and work on these unions?
Oh, yeah.
And become a right to work?
Well, in fact, the big thing...
What can we do to help you?
Well, we're going to start in a couple weeks with our budget adjustment bill. The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions.
Right.
Because you divide and conquer.
I'm not accusing the governor of perjury, but I am asking that he explain himself, because there is a blatant contradiction between the two, and they're both on videotape.
Governor, yesterday 3 Democratic congressmen sent a letter to the chairman of the House Oversight Committee asking you to clarify the statements you made before the committee and the ones that appeared on the As Goes Janesville documentary. Will you send them clarification, or do you feel like this is a valid issue?
I think the fact that they've sent it to you before I've even seen it suggests that it's a political issue.
But the 3 congressmen who sent this letter see it as a fundamental issue of honesty, and that's a sentiment shared by 2 of the top Democrats in the state. Candidate for Governor Tom Barrett, who was endorsed Tuesday by former Senator Russ Feingold.
People know there's something wrong, and it has to do with the fact that we've lost these jobs. It has to do with all of these questions that are swirling around, having to do with ethics, having to do with integrity in government, having to do with honesty.
He has a very, very bad relationship with the truth overall.
Today, Russ Feingold said that you had a very bad relationship with the truth. How do you respond to the former senator?
Well, again, the facts are the facts.
This is Fox 6 News.
Every now and then I'm known to make a mistake. I did not make a mistake with this guy. But I can tell you this, he's going to be the next vice president of the United States.
Mitt Romney has made his VP pick. Representative Paul Ryan is the Republican presidential nominee's running mate.
He and I share one commitment. We will restore the greatness of this country.
The Wisconsin congressman is considered a rising GOP star, but can he help to elevate Romney all the way to the White House?
And that's our big story tonight. Spotlight on Wisconsin. Congressman Paul Ryan is joining Mitt Romney on the Republican ticket.
We're covering this story on all angles, starting in Richmond, Virginia. And that's where we find Mike Lowe, who's following the candidates on the campaign trail.
Good evening, Bev, and good evening, Tammy. We are live in Richmond, Virginia. This is the state where it all went down. Mitt Romney's 4-month search for a vice presidential candidate came down to this. And for months, speculation had been swirling around Paul Ryan. Within the last couple of days, the signs really started pointing to him. Well, tonight, the signs make it official. It's Romney Ryan. Aboard the USS Wisconsin in Norfolk, Virginia, Mitt Romney fired a shot that reverberated across the political landscape.
In welcoming the next president of the United States, Paul Ryan.
42-year-old Janesville Congressman Paul Ryan is now Romney's running mate. The newly minted GOP ticket kicked off a 4-day bus tour. Saturday, there were 3 stops in Virginia, from Norfolk to Ashland, and then the big news came to this small town.
We were like, we should make shirts.
Manassas dressed for the occasion, and it's clear they're comfortable with Ryan.
I think he's got some good experience, and I think he's going to bring some fresh ideas.
Listening to Paul Ryan this morning, fabulous speech. And when I heard that he was going to be in Manassas, a friend of mine said, hey, you want to come down? And I thought, absolutely, didn't want to miss it.
Kathleen Donovan says she subscribes to Ryan's philosophy of fiscal discipline.
But you have to make choices. It's like, if you can't afford salmon, you eat chicken.
The move has electrified conservatives and has been deemed a choice that instantly recasts the election as a debate over the role of government.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? November 6th, we take our country back.
Paul Ryan took to the stage and delivered forceful remarks on his ideas to balance the budget and reduce the debt and deficit. He says President Obama's policies have set the country on the wrong path.
We're not going to fall for this kind of rhetoric that says to people that they're stuck in their station in life, victim of circumstances outside of their control, and only the government is here to help them cope with it. You know what? That's not who we are. That's not the American idea. That's not the American we know, and it's not the American we're going to have starting next year.
Today was a good day for me, I got to tell you.
And Mitt Romney was clearly pleased with his pick.
He's taken our party and with his intellectual leadership has helped make sure that we focus on values, that we fight for things we believe in. Sometimes our party has gone astray over the past years. And Paul Ryan said, no, bring it home to the things we care about. Make sure we care for our seniors, we care for our kids, and we stop spending what we don't have.
And today was viewed as the kickoff of a 4-day tour on bus through key battleground states. Now tomorrow, both Romney and Ryan will be campaigning in North Carolina, and then both of them come home to Wisconsin for what they're calling a homecoming rally for Paul Ryan. Reporting live tonight in Richmond, Virginia, Mike Lowe, Fox 6 News.
All right, Mike, thank you. Of course, Mike Lowe is taking the political lowdown on the road following the Romney-Ryan campaign tour.
We are in High Point, North Carolina, a fitting place because Paul Ryan is clearly at the apex of his political career, at least so far. And it was after this rally here in North Carolina that we got Paul Ryan's first reaction to being named to the Republican ticket.
Hey, Mike Lowe, how you doing, man?
How are you? What do you want to say to people?
I can't wait to get home this afternoon. We're really excited about it. Mike Lowe, good to see you down here in North Carolina.
We are at the Iowa State Fair in Des Moines, and Paul Ryan took to the stage, but he wasn't quite the center of attention. That was going on in the crowd. Hecklers interrupted Paul Ryan in his first solo speech as the vice presidential candidate.
I think it's become so.
We are in Lakewood, Colorado, about a 20-minute drive from downtown Denver. This is where Paul Ryan was attending a rally today where he spoke about the need to reduce the debt and the deficit. Paul Ryan had long planned to be in Colorado this week, but it's fair to say he did not expect to be here as the Republican vice presidential candidate. Paul Ryan, the 42-year-old congressman from Wisconsin's 1st District, now becomes Wisconsin's first nominee on a major party presidential ticket. He spent 7 terms in Congress building a reputation as the leading proponent in the nation of supply-side economics and fiscal discipline. His ideas have already shaped this election. Now with his name on the ballot, he has a chance to shape history.
I accept the calling of my generation to give our children the America that was given to us.
We are here in Danville, Kentucky for what they're calling the Thrill in the Ville. It is the vice presidential debate between Joe Biden and Paul Ryan. It is perhaps the biggest single moment in the entire campaign for the Janesville congressman. He has a well-earned reputation for seriousness, dealing with sober issues like the debt and the deficit. But you may not know this. Just as he can quote the great minds in conservative economics, he can also quote the great 1980s comedies. Will we see some of that humor in this debate tomorrow? We asked his older brother.
I don't know if Caddyshack or Fletch or Animal House will play well, but you're right. You know, he's a serious guy.
Some are calling it a slugfest. From Kentucky to La Crosse, we're there. Our Ben Hendelman, Henry Rossoff with reaction from both of those places in Wisconsin. But first, our Mike Lowe, who's in Danville.
And good evening, Mary. It was a tense and testy 90-minute debate here in Danville, Kentucky.
Just minutes ago, this gym was filled with more than 1,100 people. It's a rally that Joe Biden held in Beloit. It wasn't to change anyone's minds, but to fire up the base. And boy, did he fire up the base.
Our Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Elections are all about numbers, and that's why the 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton, came to University of Wisconsin, Green Bay to talk about numbers and how they differentiate between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney.
I want us to have a serious talk tonight.
After months of campaigning on specific issues, focusing on everything from taxes to terrorism, the entire campaign message now boils down to a single sentiment, and it is here in Racine in black and white. Vote early.
So Wisconsin.
Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney makes his first stop back in Wisconsin since he chose Janesville Congressman Paul Ryan as his running mate, and they had that welcome home rally in Waukesha. But before Romney even took the stage, there was a slew of high-profile Republicans that spoke and a surprise endorsement. That came from legendary Packers quarterback Bart Starr.
President Obama is back in Wisconsin, campaigning for the first time since the storm on the East Coast.
Hello, Wisconsin!
Closing the campaign with a crowd. Thousands come out to see President Barack Obama and Bruce Springsteen in the final hours of the race for the White House.
270, the finish line in the race for the White House. 11 battleground states where the election will be decided. And in the eye of the storm tonight, Wisconsin.
Good evening on the historic evening here, everybody. Welcome to our election night coverage on Fox 6. We have the eyes of the country on us tonight. Last time he was outside, tonight he is inside McCormick Place, and that's where our Mike Lowe is kicking things off for our election coverage tonight. Hi, Mike.
And good evening, guys. We are inside of McCormick Place, just on the shore of Lake Michigan, where 10,000 of the president's supporters have flooded into this massive convention hall.
And good evening, guys. We are here inside the Boston Convention Center, where several thousand supporters and, of course, Republican high-ranking officials have gathered. There's a bit of a nervous tone that's developed in this room so far as the first few swing states have gone against the Republican nominee.
Let's start with Jeremy Ross. He is live at Thompson's headquarters in Pewaukee tonight. Hi, Jeremy.
And hi there, guys. Now, if Fox News, and they have called the winner, Congresswoman Tammy Baldwin, at this time, their early projection, if that news is true, we haven't heard really any reaction to that possibility.
Of course, Fox News has called the race for Congresswoman Baldwin.
Our Jenna Sachs is live at the Ryan Watch Party in Janesville tonight. Jenna, I have to imagine that winning the congressional seat would sort of just be the consolation prize. They really want to go for the number 2 slot. There's what they're open for, of course.
You are exactly right, Brad. I think everyone here has their eye on the presidential race tonight, and they just assume that Paul Ryan would win his congressional seat again.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to the big board. Here we've color-coded all the lists of the states declared winners by Fox News. Obviously, the red states here belong to Mitt Romney. The blue states are President Barack Obama's.
Good evening, Ann, and good evening, Brad. The president takes Wisconsin. What are the lessons that you've learned now that you've kind of had a chance to sift through it?
As I sort of decompress and think about this, number one, I'm grateful for the opportunity. It was an honor to serve with Mitt Romney on the ticket. It was a great experience that we will cherish. We didn't win the election. It didn't go our way. I congratulate the president. He won the election fair and square.
But as you reflect on the campaign, why do you think you lost?
You know, I think we lost because the president did a better job of getting his voters to the polls. We didn't win. That's just how it goes sometimes. And so now we got to find a way to make divided government work.
It really is almost crazy to think about the next presidential election. Everybody's saying you're the leading candidate. Do you see it that way? Would you think about a run for?
Aren't you tired of covering presidential politics right now?
I am. I'm a little tired.
I think we're all a little tired of it. That is so far down the road. We shouldn't be even thinking about this stuff. We got problems. Let's fix our problems. We can worry about politics later.